So, hey everyone, this is yet another podcast session in our Startups Hour season, and we invite founding members to understand from where they are coming from and what kind of initiatives they have taken in the Indian startup ecosystem, and what are the areas where they have, started something that look completely different what's already available in the market. So, in the similar journey to understand the startup ecosystem better, today we have invited Subham Banerjee from SBNRI to understand how he's trying to help the NRI market segment and take the best use out of it and help them to grow their personal portfolio. So we'll try to understand a bit deep uh, in terms of what is SBNRI and how things are there. So without wasting any time, I would like to invite Subham. Hey Subham, hi, welcome.
Thanks,
Welcome to the
Akash.
podcast. Yeah,
Thanks, Akash, for this
sure.
opportunity. Yeah.
Sure, makes sense. Thanks for joining with us, Subham. Talk about you. Let's have a basic introduction about you. Okay, how are you right now? How things are going on?
Sure. So let me take you back while take you through my entire journey. So I grew up as a single child with working parents in a small town in Madhya Pradesh. And
Okay.
generally, back then, how middle class families were, most of the peer students or kids like me, they pursued the dream to get into the IITs. So,
Right.
lot of my friends and senior schoolmates at that time, we went to Kota, prepared rigorously for couple of years for JE, and yeah, thankfully, those 2 years of hard work and hardships resulted into finally getting a call from IIT Kanpur. And want to thank everyone who were there in my journey, who helped me and who contributed throughout my life, throughout those at least 2 hard years of my life, and really thankful for that. IIT Kanpur was definitely a fascinating experience. Learned a lot of in those 4 years. Good pedigree people with lots of ideas and lots of innovative ways to do their things. Post IIT Kanpur, I did my MBA from IIM Bangalore. This was a different stint versus what I did in the last 4 years. Prepared me for what I am today and how to be ready for the real world and the real world problems. Uh,
Right.
After that, got an offer from one of the investment firms. I worked as an investor where we used to invest in consumer tech startups. Looked at Bangalore and South India market. Grew there within the organization, and after fruitful 5.5 years, I felt like some of these problems I would try to solve on my own. So I ventured in on the other end of this ecosystem, and I became part of a couple of fintech startups. Currently, I'm working with SBNRI, which is a 100% NRI focused fintech platform. So yeah, that's a short bio or short introduction about me and how have I gone about in these last 8-10 years.
Sure, makes sense. Makes sense. So as you talked about, you're from IIT Kanpur. Okay, I'd like to know that how that community that means helpful right now. Because it really matters that your peers from college, okay,
Yeah,
understand what you are doing and how well connected you are, or even in general terms, how that community help for your longer visions at the current time, not only during, while you are there. So would
yeah.
you like to talk a bit about it?
Sure. So, 4 years at IIT Kanpur were definitely enriching, to say the least. Obviously, the opportunity to be with the best minds of the country, and it was really amazing to see so many people with such a good pedigree, and made friends for life. First of all, and that's the four. That's those 4 years gave me. Something that actually stood out or stands out with respect to IITs is the amount of resources and the support the entire ecosystem provides you as a student. So
Okay,
not just the education bit of it, they also allow you to explore your creative, technical, not just a curriculum, but technical, sports, these attributes of your life, of your personality, because the last couple of years you have spent only to get into a good premier institution. So the next
right,
2 years are about exploring what you would like to do, and other than your studies and what in which stream you are in, they help you to identify these attributes of your personality. And best part is all of all of us, or most of us who pursued these things, some of them have turned into new age businesses as of now. Lot of startups,
right,
lot of learning which came in those 4 years, they have turned into businesses, and they've also turned into they have been part of our profession right now. So the learning and also the focus on different aspects help you to grow as a person, uh, and also to utilize those learnings in your day-to-day life as well. Some of these have become into flourishing businesses, as well as we have seen a lot of tech founders and other founders which have come from the IIT Kanpur ecosystem. Along with this,
right,
obviously, it creates a good network of people who have been part of this institution and other IITs and other institution as well. It always gives you an easy entry whenever you want to discuss anything. Could be anything related to your life to, or about a professional life. They become a good sounding board and helps you with all the answers, all the best possible solutions that they can help you with. So there are a lot of that 4 years, and the people who are there, they become part of your network, and they are there for your entire life.
right, absolutely. So it makes sense that the founder community within IIT Kanpur are well connected, right, and
Yes.
support you in your further journey. Okay, I'll try to go ahead and understand that later you have gone for the IIM Bangalore, right,
Yeah.
to pursue management. So how that, as an engineer, you are working for the last 4 years, means learning, and
Uh-huh.
further you have transitioned into management. So
Yeah.
how that transition, shift really look like to you,
Yeah.
and what are the positive vibes you have seen that help you, grow professionally, right?
Yeah. So actually, I come across this question quite a lot, and
Hmm.
I haven't. I when I was part of IIT Kanpur, I did my internship with Samsung, and
Okay.
I was part of their next generation technologies team. Did a small 2.5 months stint with them. Worked on a small consumer facing new language learning app, and even though it was a really fascinating experience, I felt like it could become my desk job and I'll be doing coding for long periods of time. So the idea was I was more interested in the on the people's front, where like I would like to be in the client facing or people facing role. So that was the idea, where I wanted to be out in the market or out in the system, meeting people, understanding new views, opinions, could be anything. But the idea of a desk role actually didn't resonate with me, and that's where I thought MBA could be a good ladder to reach that. To reach that level, or to reach that space, and that was the idea why I wanted to opt for MBA right after IIT Kanpur. Even though I got a pre-placement offer from Samsung, I thought I'll give a shot at completing my MBA. So to give some glimpse about my experience at IIM Bangalore. So my last 4 years at IIT Kanpur were about identifying the different aspects of my personality, but the IIM actually gets you ready for the real world with the real world issues. This might sound a little bit cliched, but they focus a lot on adding abilities, capabilities to your personality. As simple as being a public speaker, and as difficult as being, let's say, how to mitigate through ambiguous situations. So, most of us in our work life, we come across situations where there is no precedent or there are no clear cut answers to solve these things. So they help you to prepare for the real world where you can go out and solve these issues. Could be within your domain, could be outside of your domain, could be could be when you are going to start a venture of your own. So those couple of years were actually focused on getting out, getting out into the putting yourself out there. So those 2 years actually really helped me with it, and thankfully the kind of work experience or the work opportunities I received after that, they helped me to achieve what I wanted to do at that point in time.
Right, makes sense. So the idea was, according to you, is to shift the intention rather than a technology lead, just to uh, people's lead and be in that front, right? And this
Yeah.
is where I am Bangalore really being supported you, right, to grow further. Makes sense, absolutely. And I'll try to understand once I think you have completed I am Bangalore journey. You have gone with Mondelez and Brand Capital, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think Mondelez, you have done your first internship as a management student,
Yes.
and then Brand Capital is your first job opportunities. So
Yes.
how that sounds like, okay? Because I've heard a lot about Mondelez. Some of my
Yeah.
friends also doing the internship. So they are quite a bit have a different perspective. I just want to know yours at that moment of time
Yeah.
because it's around 2013, right? And
Years old.
then, right. And then about brand capital, if you like to talk about it, please.
Yeah. So yeah, we know the Cadbury's brand, and rather than the Mondelez name, I guess most
Hmm.
of us would have had a bite of Cadbury's at some point in our life. But
Hmm.
to say Mondelez was a different experience. It actually, uh, I did my internship. I was there for a couple of months again there, and the thing was they gave me a project where had to work on the last leg of the supply chain, and there the idea was to maximize their own outreach or their own uh, distribution to the retail or the wholesaler market. While I was there, I got to learn how these enormous FMCG brands go about setting up their distribution system in every nook and corner of this country. So this really helped me to understand the nuances and the psyche behind how things actually work at the ground level. And even though I spent couple of months there at Mondelez, I got to learn so much. I met so many people who were part of the supply chain, and it was only about cracking what consumer wants and how you can convince the retailers, wholesalers uh, to do that. So it was an experience which got me like how people at various levels and within the supply chain and the end customer, how they take their decisions. So even though it might sound it's a chocolate brand or it's a very simple product in nature, but the kind of consumer behavior that you see in the FMCG segment is vastly different than how you see it on the in the tech world. So you really got to learn a lot in those couple of months. And as my first job at Brand Capital, I joined them as an analyst, and we uh, we used to invest or in consumer tech companies. So I was part of the Bangalore or the South team. I joined as an analyst there, and the idea was to comb out hundreds of tech startups which existed in Bangalore, and sourcing or meeting these founders, understanding what they are trying to solve. And once you have enough grip, enough belief in the problem and also the solution, the next idea was to build those investment thesis for our internal stakeholders. And once you have invested in the company, the idea was to groom these companies, how you can leverage the potential of your portfolio. So a lot of synergies come in when there are a lot of companies within your portfolio, and also how you can groom these founders on their own, how you can grow their business. And that was the fascinating part, working with founders, because they bring their own unique ways to solve a given situation at hand or given problem at hand. So that brings lots of perspectives and how things actually work in the real world. And everything is about negotiation, which I learned which I learned as an analyst. And it was really good to have that kind of experience, because you're meeting hundreds of founders every year, and you are learning about new issues, some existing issues, some new issues which are coming. And where people actually adjusted, grew up with it, but now there is someone who is trying to solve these issues. So I grew within the organization, and my work started getting more focused around finding the best investment opportunity and growing them. So a lot of my time later on went in talking, meeting these founders, identifying the best investment opportunity, and eventually thereon groom these companies, build these startups so that they reach a certain scale, and obviously in the end make a profitable exit out of these investments.
Okay, makes sense, makes sense. So it really sound interesting to me, because working with hundred of different startup, understanding what kind of different ideas they are into,
Hmm.
and finding out what really works in the market with your vision as an analyst, and be aligned with them and looking the right kind of investment to grow. Because at the end, I feel your journey was to generate revenue for them and for brand capital, right? Makes
Yeah,
sense. Uh, Thanks for sharing. I would like to go ahead and understand the journey that you have, your financial journey that has started with open financial technology, right, at Zwitch.io.
yeah,
So, how from the analyst to that shift happen? Okay,
yeah.
and it's also aligning with what you are currently doing. So, I'd like to know a bit about it and how things are there.
Yeah. So, so in my first role or at my first job, I spent 5.5 years, and interacted with a lot of startups from various segments. Fintech was something which really resonated with me as a person, because I feel money is something which touches everyone's lives. And and the Indian ecosystem, startup ecosystem, has flourished over the years. So my next idea, or what I wanted to do within my life, was to solve some of these problems. So I at least solve one of these problems at scale, and that's how my journey started with Open Financial. So Open, they are a SME fintech player, and they are trying to solve multiple issues for a medium small sized business. You tackle They are trying, any medium or small sized business tackle a lot of problems on a daily basis which are financial in nature. So their idea was to bring all those capabilities in a single dashboard, which gives a wholesome picture of the business. And that idea kind of uh, like resonated with me again, and I wanted to be part of their journey. So that's how I started my journey on the startup side with Open Financial. And yeah, Switch is another vertical within Open Financial, where they started with a low code or no code API stack, where any tech business actually can become a fintech platform, where the idea is not to transform the business into completely fintech business, but adding a fintech layer to your business. Could be as simple as I am a tech platform, I have a captive user base of 50,000 users, and I want to launch a co-branded, co-sponsored card. So Switch help you as a platform to do all of this without going through the hassles of regulations, getting licenses, building the infrastructure, and they help you with it. So you had a ready product, you just need to integrate within your systems and start offering these services to your already existing user base. So it's a really good proposition, and already we are seeing large brands already doing adding fintech layer. Lot of big brands have their own cards, which actually becomes a revenue stream without spending anything to acquire these customers. So all of these ideas, they were they were either growing or they were in the nascent stage, and this was something which I wanted to pursue and improve and make these ideas scale. So that's how my journey with Open Financial started, and worked on Switch, which was a new vertical which they started. And my experience with fintech very closely started while working at Open Financial, and a lot of learnings actually which happened at Open helped me to build the current platform that we have at SBNRI. So a lot of partnerships, banking nuances that you need to know. This all of this helped to build the current platform that we have. So it was really enriching. Even though I spent a year there, the kind of learnings I had, they helped me to utilize within my current workplace. Yeah.
Right. I think it makes sense. Also, I just want to understand when you talk about open finance, is
Uh-huh.
it like a Web3 or it's something very different?
Yeah. So let me give you a simple day in a small or medium sized business. On a day-to-day basis, what they do. So a business has to deal with lot of payments, collections, generating
Absolutely.
invoices, paying salaries to your employees, paying for reimbursements, uh, and doing and all of this, you have to give credit period to your buyers, suppliers, and also all of this is a lot of information which is present in different platforms. So let's say you are doing your payments via, let's say, Razorpay or any other payment gateway, or you are doing invoicing through another software, and eventually you're doing all your daily accounting or yearly accounting, monthly accounting on a separate software. So all of this information is already present, just that it's present in different dashboards, different places. And for a founder or for a business owner, it's very difficult to get a whole picture about where my business is, where my money is logged, how can I unlock that money, how can I do better things and plan better for the next couple of months, quarters, for the year. So Open tried to bring all of this together in a single dashboard. So now you get to see, okay, my money is logged in these places. Okay, let's say if my money is logged, I can take short-term loan, no working capital loan. I can do this through a single platform because they have my transaction history. Next, I have to pay my employees, have to do various other things. I might have to give, let's say, cards to different vertical owners within my company. All of this is possible via Open's platform, which didn't exist before. So they were the first mover in this space who was trying to bring all of this information in a single dashboard, and which actually helps the founder or the business owner to take a better informed decision. So overall, at there are, I guess, more than 2.5 million businesses which are part of open financials community, and they have been using their platform for their day-to-day operations and other work. So Open's journey, or like Open, what they've tried to do, they are solving problems which are faced by millions of SMEs in India, and and they're able to do it at scale. So
Right.
that's a really good solution to the existing problems which they are trying to solve.
Makes sense, makes sense. I got a bit of understanding, and yeah, it's aligning. Okay, let's start with the current form that where you are, that is SBNRI. Okay,
Yeah,
and I would like to start it by understanding what are the initial hurdles before registering the company was. Okay, and further how the initial days look like. Okay,
yeah,
uh, sure, please.
yeah. So let me also take you one step back, where how all of this, or how the idea of SPNRI came into picture. Uh,
Right.
we many of us would have NRI friends, NRI family members, and in our case, a lot of our friends or family members, they asked us to do few things every year. Hey, I am unable to file my income tax return in India. Hey, I am facing some KYC issues with my bank. Or maybe as simple as, hey, where are you investing right now in India? What is working well? Can you suggest something to me? All these issues we came across, or we were already helping our friends or family members over the years with these questions. And when we started focusing on this, there were a lot of gaps, or gaps which existed in this space, and most of them were about awareness or lack of education in this segment. So the initial idea was to solve these problems or provide the right answers. So let's say a simple example being, like, for resident Indians like you and me, we only have one kind of savings bank account. For NRIs, there are two. So
Hmm.
the first question for NRIs is, which kind of bank savings account should I open when I become an NRI? And from there, this whole journey of educating, first of all, educating our users started. So yeah, even for us, when we started, we were not familiar with what kind of problems actually exist in this segment, and a lot of our initial effort was to understand the kind of problems any NRI goes through, and which involved talking to a lot of NRI bankers, or other people who are involved in this segment, who deal with the problems, who provide some kind of solution to this user base. And on the basis of that, we realized there is a lot of education or awareness that needs to be created in this space. And that was the first step we took to educate our users, and we started actually with writing only content on NRI specific issues. The initial days were tough. Obviously, we started at the time of first lockdown in India. So our only medium, or only way to reach out to our users was through tech and through our website. So we focused only on writing good quality content answers to NRI specific problems. So they can understand what needs to be done in India when they are in India, or at least when they're sitting outside of India, they know this is the way to go forward. Yeah.
Right. Okay, I got a bit of idea. Means it's as you said, it's initially started as blogs, right? Writing a lot about how they can really use that knowledge. So what are the initial traffic that the website got, and how big means, because that has given you a picture, right? That it wants to start something in that field,
Yeah.
right?
So initially we focused on couple of categories and then we kept on adding those categories. So let's say
Hmm.
simple ones were banking, banking, investments, and others. So we started from there, and daily traction was we started with 50 users on a daily basis. And currently, we have reached a stage where we have 2.5 to 3 lakh monthly NRI traction. So we
Hmm,
focus
right.
a lot on distribution, or let's say to writing or giving answers to NRI queries, NRI questions, which started with banking, investments, but now they've reached to various other categories. Let's say your remittances, taxation, could be any other NRI focused query, and we have just built on this distribution over the years. Since we have also come from the spaces where we have built, or we have focused on distribution in the past, the idea was to reach to a steady user base on a monthly basis, and then launch any kind of service that we want to do, any kind of product that we want to do for our users based on the use case. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. It makes sense. So if you're talking about even 2 to 3 lakh on a daily user base, that's great to understand how big and capable this market is, and to take some good decision out of it, right? Okay, makes sense. Later, I just want to know about the founding team itself, right? So how you guys have collaborated, okay,
Yeah.
and how you think that this is the best fit, okay, for me and my co-founder to fill the gaps, all right, that we come up as a base within our capabilities, and use that to start this venture.
Yeah. So I've known Mudit, my founder, from my school days. He was my school senior, so we go a long way back. And Mudit, before SBNRI, he started along with his other co-founders in the past a distribution-led platform in the medical tech space. So
Right.
they reached a scale within 3 4 years of their operations. They reached a scale where they were able to touch 50% of doctors within India. So Mudit and his team from earlier, they had capabilities in the capabilities on how to grow a platform, how to grow a tech platform. They have their experience on the growth and distribution side. I brought a lot of my executional capabilities within the fintech segment, and that's how the when Mudit was focusing on uh, what to start next and what could be the next big idea, or what I want to do, which problem I want to solve at scale. That's when he focused on identifying the problem, and some of us joining later to bring those executional pieces in play and solving these problems. So our capabilities, Mudit focuses a lot on growth and distribution bit of the business. Me and my other folks, we focus on executing or strategizing for future, how we can grow the business, as well as how we can execute the pieces which are available to us right now.
Right, absolutely makes sense. So, according to you, your co-founder has the ability to grow business at a scale level, right?
Yeah.
And you feel yourself good at executing the right requirements
Yes.
along with your team. Makes sense. Sure. I just want to, take this conversation ahead and understand that we see that NRIs face a lot, right? In terms of where to invest and what to start with, and how to find the best strategy, okay, to right kind of financial decisions. So now I just want to understand how that means being provided by SBNRI. Okay,
Mhm.
what you guys till now doing in the SBNRI to catering NRI's market. Okay, and how the last 3 years till it has started, enhancement goes from the base to the current place where it is.
Yeah. So our initial journey, which focused on writing content or creating distribution, helped flooded us with lot of NRI queries on banking, investments, and support. And
Right.
the idea, these were the three high frequency issues that we came across within our user base on a daily basis. Some of we evaluated all these verticals, but what we realized was, or something that can be solved given the current regulations in place or the current ecosystem, what it allows, investment was the easiest, or let's say was the most asked, sought after solution which was required in the market within our users. So we started with our investment platform roughly just over a year back. We started with couple of investment options, and now we have more than 9 to 10 investment options available to the NRI segment. And the beauty of it is, none of, or other than two three options, none of these were options were ever available to an NRI, either by the banks or large Indian fintech wealth tech platforms, because as a category or as an audience nobody focused on them. And that's where we wanted to fill the gap, where we wanted to make India accessible to our NRI users. And the last uh, 14-15 months have been spent on identifying the right product market fit within this segment. And now we are ready to grow our platform exponentially. So we have identified what is needed within our user base, and how to go about it. So the next phase or the next leg of growth is only about building or scaling the current platform, because we have identified the problems which came to us within the first 12-18 months through our blog or content platform.
Right. So initial, I think you mean to say that 18 to 24, so approx 2 years, let
Yeah,
you understand what really needed to be done.
yeah,
And right now you are trying to add more capabilities within it, right? Makes sense.
precisely.
So,
Yeah, so the initial part, the problems came to us, even though we knew we want to do something, we want to focus on broad two, three categories, but what should be picked first?
mm,
Those things came directly from our users via our content, via our blog platform. And now we are
right.
adding abilities to our app, and platform so that we can grow this now. We know the issues and we are just trying to plug all the holes and build it for the users.
Right, makes sense. So, I just wanna touch upon me or us as an Indian versus the NRIs. Okay, because even I think as an Indian user, I try to invest, right? We try to invest in certain areas. So how it is different for the NRIs? Okay, and what separate means what are the conflicts which lead you to understand that dedicated platform would be better for them,
Yeah.
right?
So, Akash, I would like to touch on 3 points which we feel are really different versus resident Indians like you and me.
Right.
First one is the processes. So, let's say as simple as being doing your KYC. Let's say you
Hmm.
can go to a Grow app, Paytm app, or any other fintech app. We can directly do our KYC, which is not paper driven, which is tech driven, can be done within seconds, and you
Hmm.
can start investing within a day. And the processes and everything has been digitized for resident Indians. For NRIs, this is the biggest hurdle actually to start. Lot of their
Okay.
processes they are not yet digitized because of XYZ reasons. Maybe since they don't stay in India, their digital database is limited. They have been using limited services, so their central KYC records don't have enough information, and that's the most challenging bit. So even to do a KYC, let's say opening a demat account with Zerodha, they have to get their KYC documents attested by a local embassy in their country of residence. And then they have to send these documents, courier these documents to India. And then a demat account is open. So that's how difficult the processes are. Imagine if you want to invest in stocks and you have to wait for a month. Uh,
Right.
Resident Indians, we won't be able to accept or understand this. But this is a
Hmm.
very big challenge even to start anything. The next bit I would like to touch upon is the experience. So since India being a large country, most of the platforms, most of the services, they are built from resident Indian first perspective. So by that I mean, they are trying to solve problems for us who are staying within India, and they are never built from NRI first perspective. So the NRIs they get stuck at different stages during their investment or during their transaction experience, and this is where a separate platform which is built with the NRI first approach, they will be able to solve it. And that's what we have tried. That's what we are trying to do it as well. And the third thing that NRIs really face trouble with is the support or the tax support. So let's say we know the income tax slabs or taxation for various investment products within India. But for NRI, these NRIs are staying in more than 100 plus countries globally. Everyone has a unique set of taxation issue with respect to their overseas country of residence. So a lot of their queries are on how my returns, how my principal, how my investments are going to be taxed, and if you don't have the know-how of these problems, or if you don't understand global taxation, it would be really difficult to build a platform uh, where you can give the right investment option or the product for NRIs, because every NRI comes with their own unique set of support issues. So the processes, the experience, and the support that an NRI needs is much different, or it's different than resident Indians, and that's why the need for a separate platform which can do it for them.
Right. I just want to understand that you have said for us as an Indian resident, it take around 1 or 2 days to get onto any platform and start working. And for the same kind of thing that had to be done for NRIs, take a month, right? Just because they have to go through the embassies and they deal with two taxation system. One is in which country they are, and one is where means uh, in India, right?
Yeah,
So this make the whole system a bit of complicated, and still it hasn't been, automated. You mean to say,
yeah.
right? Means is it something that has been enabled or improved with the help of SBNRI that is there? Means you guys are trying to automate such things as well.
Yeah. So we have worked upon in the last 1 year and more.
Hmm.
We have worked with partners in the ecosystem, which can help to improve the experience. Could be related to transaction experience, could be related to KYCs. So we are working with the stakeholders within the ecosystem. Some good part is some of these problems we have solved it, and some of these problems will be solved when there will be some regulation change in this space. So the problems that we can solve as of today, we are focusing on them so that at least NRIs they get as good as an experience as a resident Indian. And few changes, hopefully, they will come soon in terms of regulation change, policies change, which will happen in future because anyway, lot of things or most of the things today are getting digitized, and government is supporting those changes. So hopefully, we will see lot of policy changes which will come in the NRI segment as well. We are already seeing on the UPI side where UPI is getting opened up for international
Multiple countries, right?
multiple use cases. So similarly, we'll see a lot of changes will come for NRIs as well, hopefully sooner than later.
Absolutely makes sense, sure. And as you have said, these are the multiple challenges, okay, in the NRI segment. And you as a service provider with the SBNRI application enabling such thing, does it give you an extra edge, or how it is difficult for a new fintech startup to get into this space, right? Means, if you would like to talk about what capabilities SBNRI has, okay, which might be difficult for other new, even starting fintech platforms, will be difficult to get into.
Yeah. So the learnings of the last 3 years have actually helped us to create various modes. So
Hmm.
let me go through them. So one of this is a lot of learning has happened, and even though it can be imitated by others, we still feel we have a decent enough 1.5 years of head start definitely in the space, because there are a lot of pieces which work, or where a lot of entities are involved, even a single money flow which happens, let's say from an NRI who has money in their foreign bank account, and they finally invest that money in some investment option in India. So lot of learning has come because of lot of plays, or lot of plays which are involved in the system. So there is definitely a lot of learning which has come from this. Second, that I feel is we have created a distribution play here, which is really helping us right now. So let's just talk in terms of customer acquisition cost perspective. Whatever cost as a fintech platform that I might incur for resident Indians, for NRIs, easily it could be 5 to 10x. So I might to get a new user on a mutual fund app in India could cost, let's say, 100 rupees, just for an example. For NRIs, it could easily be as high as 500 to 1,000 rupees. So making a sustainable, profitable play out of NRIs is not easy. for an Indian platform to imitate it.
Right.
How we have reduced it is by creating a distribution play, and that's why a lot of our initial focus was on getting distribution, writing content, getting to understand what user wants, what problems they face, and now we have a beautiful organic channel which gives us, which brings us users on a monthly basis, and we don't have to incur the same cost which an Indian platform might have to do. And the third thing I feel is the tax advisory or the taxation and other service support that we provide. So for any fintech platform in India, since we are dealing with only few set of taxation rules or support services which are involved, most of us know these things at first hand, or we can easily find answers for them. For NRIs, there are a lot of issues or lot of problems that come up when they are present in 100 plus countries. So a lot of that understanding and learnings which have come and helped us to build that support ecosystem is actually helping an NRI user to make that investment decision quicker. So now they understand, okay, this is the impact that I will have in India. This is the impact I will have in UK. Let's say if the person is from UK, and these are the key decision points which I need to focus on. So we have solved for these problems, and we have actually identified what are these key decision making points for any NRI while they're investing in India. So all of this learning processes, uh, everything have helped us to give a good head start in this space, and it would definitely be difficult for any Indian fintech platform to imitate it.
Right. And it makes sense. I got to understand a bit. Also, I'll be reading a Bloomberg report recently that says that the chances of means market volatility, that
Mhm.
the stability in the market within India is zero, means in a very safe space, like Indian ecosystem looks to grow. Okay, and the probability of its to getting into back foot is 0%. Might be because Indian market have a lot of requirement. Okay, and
Yeah,
it's flourishing, improving, and it has gone goes down, and it's around 66% for the UK
yeah,
and around 65% for the US as well. So
yeah,
there is the means at certain early verge where the chances of your investment may hit a back foot. So I feel that within that context, India is a right place right now to make investment, right? And apart from it, I also want to understand that I feel SBNRI is a wealth tech platform, right? It's enabling you as an NRI to invest in multiple sections where your money can grow.
yeah,
So, how complicated it is to make that investment possible? Because we have around 6 to 7 different verticals where we can invest, right? Like there is crypto market, there is Indian stock, there is US stock, right? So how things are being accumulated into SBNRI, okay? And how you think that the future look like, where if an NRI is joining you as an investor, okay, for you to manage their portfolio, okay, you feel that out of the options I have, this is the best to go ahead with.
yeah.
If you would like to talk about, please.
Yes. So a lot of any investor, whether in India or outside India, they come with their own set of financial goals that they want to achieve.
Right.
And every user has a risk profile, investment horizon, and mix of all these things actually help us to plan, or my wealth team to plan better for any individual or for any investor. So these whenever you want to build a large portfolio, definitely my wealth team comes into picture. They understand all your all the things that you want to achieve while creating wealth in India, in how much time period you want to do it, and what kind of risk profile that you have. So all these factors are come into play while designing a portfolio for an NRI investor. What we have tried to do is, we, other than just your traditional investment options that we have in India, which could be your stocks, mutual funds, FDs, uh, PMS, AIF. Along with it, we are also trying to bring the new age investment options which are growing in India. It's mostly from the perspective of building diversification, adding diversification into your investment portfolio. So
Right.
based on various factors, each investor would have a different mix of equity, debt, and your new age investment options. And the idea is to give access of new India. So India is not just growing or improving or flourishing in one or two or three sectors or three segments. India is growing in lot of various other segments as well. So we want our NRI users to be part of that growth as well. So the idea is that the investors or the users should grow their wealth along with India. So India's GDP, everything is increasing, and there are various segments where it is improving. So you should have, if you have that kind of portfolio or that kind of investment that you want to create, uh, in such a case, we help them to add different layers of it so that your overall risk remains intact and you are able to make better returns. And overall, you don't have extra exposure to certain segments. So we have to get out of those ideas as well, where we have only the traditional investment options. You also need to look at other investment options, which could be like the startup investments. Lot of Indian startup ecosystem already is the third largest in the world, and uh, high risk appetite investors might want to be part of this ecosystem as well, so that they can grow their wealth exponentially, even though it comes with a very high risk. But it is an asset class, and every user should, or every NRI user in our case, we are trying to give flavor of these investment options to the users, so that based on their risk profile, get they can be part of the India's growth journey as well. So lot of factors actually come into play when we are designing a portfolio for any investor. In certain cases, some users, some NRIs, we already have our some biases towards some investments, and they might not want to invest that big an amount initially. So they might start with simple investment options where they would like to park their money for a short time, for a year, for a couple of years, and they might start from there. And eventually, the idea is to grow every investor into allocating certain funds towards India. So when you're trying to build wealth, you allocate some funds to where, in which country you are currently residing. Along with it, you also allocate some money to India as well.
Right. Makes sense. Also, being a segment of NRI market, it's a very diverse area, right? The people can be part of US, Europe, or Australia, or even some Asian countries like UAE, Singapore, right? So I just want to understand that which are the countries you feel, okay, that SBNRI has capably captured, okay, in a proper way, and what are the countries you feel that are growing at a good pace
Mhm.
right now? Uh, how does portfolio look like currently?
Yeah. So since we have global audience, a big hurdle in a lot of the cases is the time zone difference that we have. So,
Right.
initially, to start with, we have focused on countries where we have minimal time zone difference. So that's why a lot of focus has gone in on Asia and some parts of Europe. So we have focused on growing our user base from UK, UAE, Singapore. But along with it, when we were focusing on these countries, we also have users from US, Canada, Australia, Japan. They have come on their own and they want our services as well. So with time, obviously the idea is to make a platform where users can do things on their own, and it becomes a low touch point business for us. But the current idea is to grow in within countries where we have minimal time zone difference, and eventually have separate teams for countries where the time zone difference is much more. So
Hmm.
currently we are focusing on Asia and parts of Europe, but eventually we will add more people who can take care of Americas as well.
Absolutely makes sense because I feel being a part of NRI segment, it's also, capital intensive to, target any market and to go ahead with the best possible option and grow further. Makes sense. I'll just want to go ahead and understand um, through your personal experience the kind of innovation you see in the fintech, okay, in terms of NRI, how you feel this market will be, okay,
Mhm.
from 5 or 10 years down the line, okay, and what are the long-term vision that SBNRI has, that where they see that after 10 years how my platform will look like and how big the portfolio it will be handling. Please.
Yeah. So on the innovation bit, at least in the segment of NRIs, we feel that so the cycle which has happened for resident Indians, which started with UPI coming into picture, KYCs getting digitized, other things like all your financial transactions, how slowly they have moved to your mobile app. We see a similar thing happening in the NRI segment as well. So basically, the wheel which has happened or the things which have happened in the resident Indian space, similar things will happen or will be get replicated in the NRI segment as well. Initially, obviously, already we are seeing in terms of transactions how Paytm and UPI and Google Pay help you to transform your peer-to-peer transfers or peer-to-merchant transfers. We see those changes happening first in the NRI segment, and the next bit we feel since a lot of things have digitized, we feel in the NRI domain, things related to your KYCs, other transaction history, all of this will also help to digitize their KYC records. So, which will eventually open up India for multiple other things for NRIs. So, these are two spaces I feel where uh, there will be, they will, these changes will come sooner and will help to open up other sectors for NRIs as well. So payments and KYC, I really hope these things happen sooner, and already things are happening in this space. Other than this, what our vision is for SBNRI in long term. Uh, we want to overall want to make India accessible to NRIs. When we talk to our users, they still NRIs, we feel like they are not in India and they are not. They might not have enough information about India, but these are the people who celebrate Indian festivals with the most fervor. They are really attached to what is happening in India. So our whole idea is to make India accessible to NRIs, help them to invest as of today, but we'll be adding more layers, more categories where NRIs will never feel like they are away from home or they are away from India. And eventually, we want to become a pipe for people outside India so that they can invest in India. So overall, the idea is make India accessible at a global scale. We are not just NRIs; we can also have citizens from other countries who can invest seamlessly within India. So that's a whole idea where we want to focus, or where we can want to make a dent, and that's how we see SBNRI countries and our users growing along with it. So overall, the idea is to contribute to the GDP of the country.
Absolutely. So it makes sense. Even the idea at the end is to let the Indian culture celebrating NRIs join together and enable them to be a part of that ecosystem, right?
Yes.
Makes sense. So I think it was nice interacting with you, Shubham. Okay. And thanks for sharing the vision and your personal understanding as a founder of SBNRI to get to know a lot of things around this firm. Anything at last would like to tell to the listeners who are mostly entrepreneurs or professionals?
Yeah.
Uh, sure.
So, first of all, thank you, Akash, for this providing this opportunity and platform to share my journey and my views and on certain things. I would only message I would have for other professionals in the ecosystem is, if you feel there is a problem yet which is not yet solved, uh, people should go for it. And since this is the time where where you can actually where you are supported by various stakeholders and they help you to solve those problems, so you will never find a better opportunity than today. So if there is any problem that you feel which can be solved at scale, where you don't have a proper solution as of today, this is the time, go for it. And you will learn more than what you learn a lot of things which will help you later in your life as well. So it's starting something on your own is always a hurdle to begin with, but eventually it brings a lot of people together. You discover a lot of things, so you discover different aspects of your life as well. So if you have any ideas, start with it, grow, work on it. So that's my only
Right.
thought on this.
Sure, sure. So thanks, Shubham. Okay. It was nice interacting with you. Hope you enjoyed the session.
I
So,
really
okay.
loved the conversation, and likewise, thanks, Akash.
Sure. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
See you.